guys, how's it going? It's Al. Welcome to the 5 Under 5 show for week 10 on DraftKings. We're going to build some NFL DFS tournament lineups, and to do so, we want to target some players that are not going to be held by as many of our opponents as possible to give us the best chance at leveraging the field and moving all the way to the top of the GPP chart so that we can get to all of that money that sits on top. The week 10 cheat sheet is already out in Discord for Twitch subscribers and YouTube channel members. Also available to Discord subscribers now. That option is available if you're having trouble linking your YouTube account. Those VIP channels to become a part of our community, as well as the cheat sheet channel, are limited to Twitch subs, Discord subscribers, and YouTube channel members. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, you have got to go to smizzle.tv/join or just click the join button down below. If you're on mobile, you have to go to the link, smizzle.tv/join, and then hop into our Discord at smizzle.tv/discord. Do what you got to do in the instructions folder to link your account, and you will see that your name will turn red as a channel member, orange as a Discord member, or if you're on Twitch, it turns blue. You have access to all the VIP channels and the cheat sheet for this week. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The Week 10 Smiz Gang Listener League is posted over on DraftKings, but it is not available for you to find in the lobby. You've got to go to smizzle.tv/links if you want to join. That'll take you to my link tree where you can find the link to the Listener League as well as everything else. It's $10 to enter. It is 3 max, only 3 lineups available per player, $40,000 in the prize pool, and 100% of that goes back out. That's right, absolutely no rake. I will shout out the top 10 finishers on the recap video on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel, smizzle.tv/ff, or you can just follow the link in the link tree at smizzle.tv/links when you go join the Listener League and subscribe over there and find out how I did every single Monday in the weekly recap video, as well as other content that exists on that channel. Our first player on the list this week is Jameer Gibbs. This is like a star stud. As tough as this slate is, and make no mistake, this is a very dangerous slate. This is a very tough slate. There's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of things going on. Jameer Gibbs is projected at 3.5%. He is 7K. There is so much value on this slate that you can essentially, you can get anybody you want. If you want to play a player, you can go get that player. The Detroit Lions and the Chargers have the highest total on the weekend. It is the game with the highest total and the closest spread, so it's the game with the most likely possibility of shooting out should the Chargers find the ability to score a little bit against that tough Lions defense, and the Lions have to play catch up, and they should be able to, as the Chargers defense really has trouble stopping anybody. So as long as the Chargers can be somewhat efficient on offense, that's going to push that Lions defense. Now we do have David Montgomery probably coming back this weekend, and Coach Dan Campbell has begrudgingly indicated that Gibbs could see an uptick in his work in the team's backfield rotation because, you know, in the absence of David Montgomery, he's looked really good. And you should probably get those players who are really good onto the field more often. Not thinking about Arthur Smith at all right now, just talking about Jameer Gibbs. So the kid has some flash. He's also extremely good in the passing game. This is as advertised with Jameer Gibbs at this point. Back-to-back games, 27.6 points, 32.9 points. He's definitely going to take a hit. In terms of his snap count, he is still going to get carries. He may not get the goal line carries, but his ability to score from distance is going to be a thing. Now, Dave Montgomery coming back is part of the reason that he's going to be there. That's why he's a tournament play and not a cash game play this week. So you have the ability to get a player who is absolute lightning in a bottle in a game that does have shootout potential at a price that's extremely accessible and allows you to leverage off of the Tony Pollard chalk in a way that's reasonable. Now, look, there's certainly paths to failure. There's paths to failure with all these players. The reason that they're paths to failure explains why they're all projected to be under 5%. That includes Alvin Kamara, who's also projected for 3% owned, probably because of his price at $8,300. People that are going to pay $8,300 previously had wanted to pay for Jamar Chase. Now he's kind of up in the air with his status. We'll find out whether or not he's going to go. They said he has a chance to play. If he plays, is he going to be active or is he going to be active? Amon-Ra St. Brown, $8,300. You have Keenan Allen, the same price range. You've got $900 more to get up to. Anybody that wants to pay $8,300 is probably going to work their way up to $9,200 to get Christian McCaffrey, or come a little bit down to the better projecting running backs at slightly lower prices. So Alvin Kamara We know he's got a nuclear ceiling. We haven't really seen it yet. We've seen 20 to 30 points, but we know that he has like a 45 plus point ceiling. And Minnesota's a team that they could actually abuse an indoor game, fast track, up in pace. Anytime that the Saints are going to get extra snaps, that's when I want to buy in on somebody like Alvin Kamara in tournaments. And correlating him with some of the other plays on Minnesota is definitely going to be something that we want to do if you're looking to play players from this game. Again, this is a fast-paced game where New Orleans does project to get more snaps than they normally do. Deebo Samuel comes back from his broken back. I mean, kind of, it's a hairline fracture in his shoulder. It's part of your back. I think he's going to play a full workload in this game. He is projected at 4.5%, so he just fits under where we are. 6,200 is extremely viable to get to. I don't love Purdy in this game, or Purdy double stacks in this game, but I like San Francisco, Jacksonville secondary stacks. You're going to pick one play, like let's say somebody like Kirk and Samuel as a secondary to go along with your primary quarterback stack. It's an easy way to differentiate that lineup and get access to this game where points could fall out of it if Jacksonville is forced to play a little bit up in pace. And wide receivers do project very well against San Francisco. They've given up the 4th most fantasy points per game on DraftKings to opposing wide receivers. And if it becomes a push-pull situation, more people are going to try and flock to, like, I think Brandon Ayuk as well. Not a lot of people on any one of these San Francisco options. I think that we've got 12% projecting for Christian McCaffrey. Ayuk is somewhere in between, and Deebo is sub 5. So he is a solid tournament option this week on a 10-game slate, and we know what his ceiling is, can be used in multiple different ways to attack this Jacksonville defense. If you think that this is going to be the game that goes somewhat nuclear as a secondary stack or even as a one-off, you can afford whatever you want because of the Bengals injuries and all the other value and Houston injuries, opening up a ton of sub 4K wide receivers on the slate to allow you to afford whatever it is that you want. Let's go over to Underdog Fantasy and build a pick'em card. If you do not have an account over at Underdog Fantasy, what are you doing? Just make an account and use promo code ALSMIZZLE, ALSMIZZLE, and you get up to a $500 first-time deposit when you deposit to the site for the first time. $500 free just waiting for you to go get. You can use it on Pick'em or Battle Royale or any of their great best ball games that they have, and you can draft against other people where you don't have to worry about people uploading 150 lineups at one time if that's a way that you would rather play daily fantasy. We're going to build this one a 2-player because there's no Jahmyr Gibbs, because they don't know, they haven't locked in whether Montgomery is in or not, so they can't set lines for Gibbs. Otherwise, I would have used him in this. So I got Kamara over 33.5 receiving yards and Deebo over. I need 60 plus rushing plus receiving yards in this one. Lowers are more sharp, but I like to bet the higher because I'm a donkey and I don't like rooting for punts and field goals. So that's my 2. Make sure that you take advantage of the great products and bonuses that they have over at Underdog Fantasy today. Jahan Dotson has posted 3 straight fantastic volume games, scored touchdowns in the last 2, squares off against Seattle, a game that they're probably going to have to throw, and project to play from behind. Curtis Samuel may play, but is still dinged up in this one, and Jahan Dotson projects for 3.5% again at $5,000. Sure, I'm in. Where do I sign up for this? Like, Seattle's a team that we were attacking all season long in the first half of the season with opposing wide receivers. Now we have a situation where we've got an emerging young wide receiver with a team that wants to throw it more than any other team has ever thrown the football before in the NFL. So you know that the volume is going to be there. So the path to 20 plus DraftKings points is certainly there for him to 4x, possibly 5x his salary. If he sneaks into the end zone or breaks a long touchdown against the Seattle backfield, defensive backfield, that is certainly gettable for opposing wide receivers. If this game shoots out, playing him as a part of a stack with his quarterback Howell, playing him as a bring back stack with Geno. I know that a lot of people are going to want to play Geno doubles this week or Geno stacks this week. Dotson is and McLaurin are both fine. Dotson, the cheaper option of the 2. Most people default to going for McLaurin because he is the higher draft equity guy. He's the bigger name guy, but Dotson's still floating here at 3.5%. So I'll take it. I mentioned how the Minnesota game was a pace up game. I'm sure that some people are not going to be happy about this. Only 0.5% of people are projected to play Taysom Hill this weekend. Are we serious right now? It's the price. It's clearly the price. I understand, but like a differentiator position like tight end, where 20 points and a path to 15 to 30 points is extremely valuable and on a shorter slate. right? There's only 10 games on this one, and no Travis Kelce, and Baltimore is playing against Cleveland. Now, Andrews did post a good game against them the only good game that anybody's posted against Cleveland this year. Kittle is facing the fact that all three other offensive weapons on his team are there, which leaves Laporta, Hawkinson, Schultz, Ferguson, and Ingram all surrounding Tyreek Hill in terms of price, which is holding his price point down. Everybody says that they hate Tyreek Hill because he takes points away from Derek Carr and he takes points away from Alvin Kamara. But like, what if we can pay up to get different here with basically the optimal usage for Taysom Hill being the way he has been deployed the last 4 weeks, with multiple targets in 3 of 4 games, 5 or more specifically, and tons of usage in the red zone and gold zone in goal to go situations, resulting in 4 touchdowns over the last 3 games. They're going to play more snaps than usual because Minnesota is a pace-up opponent. They're playing inside. No worry about weather. Why are we ignoring? Why not we? We're not. You know, you guys are sharp. You're not doing that. But like, the public seems to be ignoring Taysom Hill this week because of his price, because of everyone else that's on the slate, and the propensity for wanting to pay down at tight end. But it's a really ugly situation, like sub 4K at tight end this week. I think it's a pay up at tight end week. And by pay up, I mean like 4,500 to like 57, wherever Laporta is in that range. Well, if I can do that and get different at the same price point and have access to a 20 to 25 point ceiling at a differentiator position with a guy who is clearly important to the way his team runs offense in a pace up situation, and he's projecting at 0.5%, I'm in. Let's head over to Fantasy Labs. And if you do not have an account over at Fantasy Labs, go to smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. Here's all the projection or the build rules that I kind of start with. This is my build from the beginning of the year. It's going to be different now. We're not going to use Indy as a running team and all those sorts of things. You can pause the video and screenshot that if you want. I also build this, add 1 player, make sure that 1 running back or wide receiver where the projected ownership is less than 12% based on the projections that we're going to use for this. But if you wanted to isolate to the 5 players or any low projected percentage owned players that you want in the lineup, you can just build a group to make it use at least 1 player. Here's the 5 that we had in this video. We'll apply those settings and build 150 lineups. Make sure that you take advantage of the great tools and time savers that they have, especially with NFL, college football, NBA season, and hockey overlapping right now, and golf season about to get back into the swing of things. When January gets here, the 6-month membership is your best value to cover all 4 sports with projections, and they're great optimizer for all of them. So I wish you the best of luck this weekend. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.